ever wonder what it's really like to work on a farm? Are you curious about what happens in all those open fields you see in northern Montgomery County and southern Frederick County? Those fields may often look peaceful and quiet, but chances are there is a wealth of work happening every day. I wanted this story straight from the farmers making it happen. Lamont is a black Angus cattle farmer out in Beltsville. He uses a process called field rotation, where once a week he moves the cattle to one of 4 fields to keep his pasture from being overgrazed. His cows spend their lives eating nothing but grass and hay. The farm is essentially self-sustaining because the cattle produce the fertilizer, which in turn produces the food they eat. Gene Kingsbury has a total of 5,000 trees, growing a variety of apples, pears, and plums, but his favorite fruits in his orchard are his peaches. He likes to try out new growing and pruning practices each year and compares it to conducting experiments and implementing his findings like a scientist. Mr. Kingsbury is not an organic farmer because he finds he needs to be able to use commercial pesticides to control insects that would otherwise decimate his fruit. A difficulty he says many Montgomery County farmers face is that this area is becoming more suburban, reducing the amount of land available for farming, but on the upside, this is expanding his customer base. Peg Coleman is a resident of Boyd's who does her agriculture not for profit, but more for self-sustainability. While her husband is retired from his job as a government scientist, she runs a cozy bed and breakfast in a refurbished log cabin on their farm. Miss Coleman was actually approached by real estate people looking to buy her property, and she immediately said not interested. Miss Coleman farms organically. She uses no chemical fertilizers, and her sheep and chickens get water directly from a pond. When it comes to the benefits of organic growing, Miss Coleman farms this way because it doesn't put toxins into the environment, it allows beneficial plants and bugs to naturally control pests, and it costs her a lot less money. Bruce Savage's farm is primarily a dairy farm where he raises and milks hundreds of cows every day. On the side, Mr. Savage grows a lot of crops, which goes towards feeding his cows, and is also sold to many of the other local community members for their own livestock. My family is the perfect example. Mr. Savage grows and sells bundles of hay, which we buy for our horses to eat. Mr. Savage runs one of the last 5 dairy farms in Montgomery County. 30 years ago, there used to be 150 of them. David's Comus Market, a farm stand at the crossroads of Old Hunchard and Comus Road, is well known for growing an enormous variety of fall squash. Mr. Heisler's goal isn't to maximize the yield of his crops, but to enable his land to support a thriving ecosystem while producing high-quality vegetables. He isn't a conventional farmer, nor is he an organic farmer, because he believes both often destroy natural ecosystems. He has come up with his own farming methods. For example, Mr. Heisler plants buckwheat and sweet clover to manage deer. By planting these in long strips, the deer browse their way through these zones without eating his crops. God will provide. That's the belief that underlies life at Jehovah-Jireh Farmstead. In 2006, when they had 2,000 laying hens and another 2,000 chicks being raised, the Horst's oldest son, Joel, started raising bees. Though initially he lost bee colonies to extreme cold, the Horsts make sure to learn from every experience and improve their practices. Joel remarked dryly, "There is no such thing as a normal year in farming." They've also discovered that by grinding whole grains just before feeding their animals, the feed provides so much better nutrition that the animals actually grow faster. This technique led them to producing numerous 25-pound turkeys this fall. Joel ended our conversation by telling me that the better we nourish the land, the better nourished our animals are, and the better nourished we are. Shannon Varley says when you do it yourself, you can care for the earth the way that you feel is right. To her, farming embodies everything that she feels is important. On Bella Terra Family Farm, she and her husband raise only heritage animals. These are traditional livestock breeds with a long history of genetic diversity and are better adapted to withstanding disease and living on pasture. Their farm is a CSA, which means Community Supported Agriculture. In a CSA, consumers share in the risks and reward of a farm. They invest money up front before the growing season begins, and the farmer uses that money to purchase seeds. Now that we learned something about farming in our part of the world, I hope you will take the next step. No matter how hard farmers and their supporters work to ensure the survival of farms and farming, they can't do it alone. They need your help. Helping doesn't necessarily mean setting aside a lot of time to go protest or to attend community meetings. What it really means is putting a little more effort into seeking out and buying local food. It's as easy as that. If you'd like to learn more about local foods, farming, and the threats to farming, please see the websites for Sugarloaf Citizens Association, Sugarloaf Regional Trails, and Montgomery Countryside Alliance.